This month, we are rallying around Venezuela. On June 24th, two earthquakes hit Venezuela back to back. It was 39 seconds apart, and they've been the strongest the country has seen in over 100 years. It's hard to get the full scale of it. At this point, there's over 5,000 people confirmed dead. Tens of thousands are still missing. I saw a stat that 80% of a city is, in terms of infrastructure, is virtually gone. And it's been weeks since this happened, and the news cycle has already moved on, predictably. But on the ground, families are still digging through rubble with their hands. Hospitals are overwhelmed. People are without food, without clean water, without anywhere to sleep. And this one is personal to me. My friend Liliana, she runs JQ Foundation. It is a family-owned 501c3. They normally do sustainability work, but the second this happened, they put their eyes on Venezuela. They rallied their donors, their friends, their connections, everything to provide medical aid, food, waters, filters, shelters. I worked with them for 2 years, so I know how they move and I know where the money goes. I know how serious and hardworking they are. So here's my ask, my love. Whether you can give $5, 50, 500, whatever you can do, it does make a huge difference. The link is in the show notes, or you can go straight to jqfoundation.org. That's jqfoundation.org, and hit donate on the relief fund. And if you cannot give right now, that's totally fine. Just share this episode because maybe someone in your circle can. Venezuela needs us to keep paying attention, to keep praying. Let's not let this be a one-week story. Hello, my love. Welcome to Brand Confidence for Creatives. Are you feeling stuck in a cycle of overthinking, trying to build your brand? I'm Eugenia, but you can call me E. I'm a marketing and brand coach, and I spent years stuck in the cycle of researching, hesitating, and hiding until I got clear on my voice and my message. In this podcast, I'll guide you through the strategies you need to get clear on what you want to say, build a personal brand, and create consistent magnetic marketing. If you ever thought, I know I have something to say, I just don't know how to say it, you are in the right place. So grab your coffee and let's dive in. Okay, my love. So today I'm settling a question I get all the time. And honestly, this is a question I've asked myself. Should you focus on Instagram or should you start a podcast? And I'm going to tell you exactly where I land, why, and what to do about it depending on where your business is right now. First, you have to know, you will not find me on the I hate Instagram train. I think it is a powerful tool. It is free to enter. You can build community. You can get clients. You can scale. It is so wonderful. But we have to be honest. There are two limits within Instagram. Number one, it does take a lot of content to grow right now. There used to be advice maybe 2-3 years ago that said, oh, post twice a week. It's important, quality over quantity. And that's not true anymore. You do need quantity. Like the accounts that are growing are posting maybe daily, sometimes even 2 or 3 times a day. And I do have support. I have a membership that I pay for monthly, and it helps me with ideation and having a first draft of things. And yet I still do the planning, the recording, editing. It does take time. It does take money. It does take brain power, investment to get to where you want to go. And then number two, and I think this is the biggest one, which is that Instagram cannot carry the depth of your ideas and your relationships alone. There is a ceiling to Instagram, and that's fine because platforms have roles in your funnels. We cannot expect for platforms to do the whole thing, except a platform that's, spoiler ahead, like podcasting, that really can carry a lot of your funnel. But if you want to wait until you hit that ceiling in Instagram, then if you wait until the moment and you start figuring out what's next, it's going to probably be too late because you're going to miss out on the little ramp up time that it takes to grow the podcast. So you do need a long form platform. That's not the question. The question is which long form platform? And I've evaluated all of them. I did your research, so I'm breaking it down for you. Let's go through a little bit of an elimination process. Number one, we have blog. And you love writing. You think better in writing. And I have nothing against written material. I love writing too. I think I produce some of my best work in writing. But a regular blog, it is very hard to scale, especially if you are a smaller website. If you have a smaller website, it's not getting a lot of traffic. The data by Google shows that 60% of Google searches now end without a single click because people get the answer with AI, at the top. They never visit the website because they already got the answer they came for. So a blog mostly builds trust with people already on your site or people that have been on your site or your email, whatever you're retargeting and you're running ads against. It doesn't cover your bases. Then we have a newsletter, and I have to mention it because a newsletter is wonderful. I always tell my clients that they need to be doing email marketing because the ROI on email marketing is great with people already on your list. And a productized newsletter, meaning a newsletter with a specific promise, can be a great lead magnet and help you get leads on for your business. But a newsletter really is mostly for trust and conversion because nobody stumbles upon your newsletter because you don't have the SEO or any type of indexing on search platforms, none of that stuff. There's no way of sampling the newsletter before committing. The only way you can read a newsletter is if you give them your email. But with a podcast, again, spoiler alert, you can listen to a bunch of episodes for a year, even 3 years, until you're ready to give that person your information. So yes, have email marketing 100%, but it's not going to be your next long form platform after Instagram. And I have to mention, newsletters cousin, which is Substack. And I say newsletter cousin because Substack started as a newsletter with a blog custom, basically, but that has changed because the platform itself has become more of this hosting space where you can have, you guessed it, your own podcast. So even Substack is recognizing that long form requires a podcast or performs better with podcast. If you love writing, go ahead. But this is not the thing that's going to carry your brand in 5 years. And you can see how the platform really is becoming truly this hosting space with notes, an app, TV app. Like it's all been happening and they've been creating all of these modes of consumption within the last year and a half. And there's a real conversation happening right now about how once a platform scales past its early days where, they're doubling, tripling down their base, it actually gets harder to get discovered organically, which happened 2 years ago. Really, Substack was pushing hard creators. And that has happened with every other platform once they get big. And also the volume of people on Substack cannot be compared to some of the other ones that, if you're blogging or I want to talk about YouTube right now, that's just not the same volume. So as I told you, YouTube comes next and it is wonderful, but it is expensive to do well. I work closely with a client who was starting her YouTube channel. She already had a very successful podcast and she was starting YouTube. And she now, after a year and a half, 2 years, her YouTube is working great for her business, but it took a lot of investment, a lot of money. It has to be edited in a particular way. You have to pay for thumbnails. You have to pay for a lot of optimization. Like there's a lot of work that comes with YouTube. And also the money of editing, like you need to edit. If you want to do YouTube correctly, you gotta work. Also the money that comes in the equipment for like recording, you need good equipment, you need good quality. And for my client, the investment made sense because she was making over 7 figures. So at this point, she had the capital to invest for 2 years without seeing anything from it. Like she was tracking people who were getting to her from her YouTube videos, not her podcast on YouTube. I'm talking standalone YouTube videos. And conversion was very, very low. Still to this day, her podcast is her main source of leads that turn out to be buyers. But YouTube is growing after a massive investment. And here's the thing, with a podcast, spoiler alert, you can always grow into YouTube later. You cannot do it the other way around as easily because of the mechanics of how YouTube is set up. So that takes me to podcasts. I've been spoiling the surprise throughout this whole episode. But yes, I have noticed that a podcast always wins because a podcast can become every other format. Episodes can become blog posts. It can become a newsletter idea, a Substack post if you want. It can become your YouTube episode. It feeds your whole ecosystem from just one system. It is unmatched. It is deeply personal. It is undeniably you. Nobody's going to wonder if AI is the one saying the thing the way you can do, or even have a ghostwriter write your blog post or your newsletter. Like, this is my voice, this is my personality. And the way you're going to connect or not connect to me is unique through this medium. Also, I love that it is discoverable with no commitment. Like, people can find it, they can sample it, they can get it recommended. It is so easy. It is so normal for people to recommend podcast episodes. And Spotify is actually now recommending shows based on fit, not on size, which is very promising because they recommend other episodes that are similar to the episode the person is liking, or the type of content the person likes, which is such an incredible way to grow. And also, you're competing against way less inventory than on YouTube. It's like you have the best of the recommendation aspect of on YouTube without the big competition. And by the time people give you their information, they're ready. They are ready to move forward. They are pre-sold, maybe not on your product, on your business, because of course that depends on your offer, but they are pre-sold on you, on what you stand for, on your ideas. By the time they show up to a sales call or they visit your sales page, the podcast has already pre-sold for you. And this is the most important thing, the compounding effect. Unlike Instagram, where a post from February is already dead, a podcast compounds year over year. Older episodes become more valuable over time. People, in my case, they still go back to my old episodes. And it's crazy. Like, I still get episodes from a year and a half ago, an interview. I remember this particular interview I did on SEO. People are still finding and listening to that episode, which has never happened with a post on Instagram I did 2 years ago. People saying, oh, what a great post. So now that you've looked at all the options, now you've probably realized that it was never Instagram versus podcast. It is Instagram and podcast. Instagram to start because it's free, it's fast. Podcast to elevate because it compounds, because it deepens relationships, because the quality of leads you get is simply better. And for some people, eventually, it's podcast over everything. I've seen it with my own clients. So if you're ready to get going with your podcast, this is your first step. Choose an angle. What's the thesis? What's the belief behind the show? Don't just say, oh, this is a podcast about nutrition tips. Like, what's the one result your people can expect? What is your perspective about nutrition that you are bringing to the podcast? What problem are you meeting them in? Also, don't treat it as a podcast only. Like, of course, I've talked about podcasts, but it is really a show. That's something that Michael Bosstick, he's the founder of Dear Media, which is a huge podcasting network. He mentioned, look at your podcast as a show with potential to be a connector to so many areas of your brand. So be strategic from day one, because your podcast, your show is an asset. So in 3 years, people will be listening to your first episodes. Your asset is going to do introduction for you, where you want to go to be a speaker. You can pull your podcast for samples on how you speak. If you want to be a guest at a podcast, it does so much for you. And if you're not ready to go aggressive with video and production, start simple. Like I always say, start with audio first, get it going, build the muscle while you build your Instagram. Do not wait until Instagram is doing nothing for you and then you have to start figuring it out. But if you have to, I have something for you. So send me a DM on Instagram. You can DM me the word moment, because I do have the blueprint to start your show. A show that's strategically designed to help you grow your business, to create that deep relationships that do the pre-sale for you before they jump on the call. So I hope you love this episode. This was a tactical one, and I know you love these episodes, but I want to get you building an asset that works for you in the long form. You know, I'm rooting for you. As always, take care. Un beso. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you loved it, don't keep it to yourself. Send it to a friend who's also trying to grow their brand without losing themselves in the process. And if you want to make my day, drop a quick review on Apple Podcasts. Seriously, it means the world to me, and I know that this show is helping you show up with confidence and clarity. See you back here soon for the next episode. Un beso.